Women are starting businesses at twice the rate of men and contribute $18 billion to the Canadian economy. Despite this hard work and success, women are underrepresented in the procurement process. But there's an initiative aiming to change that. It's called Supplier Diversity, and it's something every woman who owns a business needs to know about. To explain what it is, I'm joined by Caron Hawco. She is a diversity advisor based in St. John's. Thanks for joining me, Caron.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this. Let's break it down. What is supplier diversity?
Well, when you look at large organizations like governments, universities, big industries, oil and gas, mining, they all make major purchases and for goods and services every year, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So what we're seeing is that female-owned businesses are not really capturing a lot of these opportunities. So supplier diversity are proactive programs to increase the level of female-owned businesses in the supply chain so that they are actually accessing and can compete for these opportunities.
So is this an exclusion to the process, or how would you describe women not being more involved in it?
Sure. Unfortunately, right now in Canada, what we're seeing is less than 5% of supply chains being female-owned businesses. So there's obviously a gap there, but it's not a gap based on exclusion. It's really around education and awareness. It's at both sides of this. We're seeing that female-owned businesses need to know more about this, get more skills to address this, but we're also seeing more corporations, industries, even our own governments need to really be proactive to get more female participation in their supply chains.
So you become aware of this as a woman-owned business owner. What impact does this have on their businesses if they get part of this process?
The impact is tremendous, actually. What we're seeing is that when small businesses and female-owned businesses tend to be small, when small businesses get into major supply chains, within 2 years, what we're seeing is 70% of them grow in both revenue and in size of company. They actually can double and triple in size in that short period of time. Well, because it's consistent cash flow. These are bigger contracts. You're able to get a bigger piece of business, so you're hiring more people. So this all feeds into an ability to grow your company much quicker.
And that's if you have a woman that owns 50% of the business, right?
Correct. That generally is the threshold, is 50-51% female-owned and operated.
So what incentive is it for a business or a major company like governments or something like that to want to diversify their supply chain?
Well, I guess first of all, these institutions want to be representative of their society that they're actually servicing. So that makes more sense from a corporate social responsibility perspective. However, what we're seeing now is corporations are seeing real value in supplier diversity. Companies that are more diverse are actually more competitive. They're more representative. And they are also getting more suppliers, better value, and actually increased in innovation as well.
How do women get access to these, corporations and governments?
This is Business Development 101. It's about researching the marketplace, understanding who are the procurement bodies out there, going online and doing research, and then getting some good business development practices in place, targeting your areas, picking up the phone and talking to some of these purchasers, finding out what's coming up and how you can actually get into the supply chain. The other thing is we're seeing more and more organizations having online registration systems. Like Nalcor, for example, they're now looking at increasing the participation of female-owned businesses in their supply chain. Go online, register with them. But I also encourage you to pick up the phone. It's like, this is Business Development 101.
Right.
Create relationships with the purchasers within these organizations.
So when people talk about supplier diversity, there's often this certification that's mentioned. What is it, and do women need it to access these supply chains?
Well, the certification is something that is used globally, but we're not seeing it used readily in Newfoundland right now. We connect as a certifying organization, so if you're looking at exporting, it can be very useful to be certified, because some of these large organizations like Walmart's and ExxonMobil's, they actually use the certifications to make decisions for their major supply chains. However, in Newfoundland, companies are not using certifications, so a good way to get to understand who's out there in terms of female businesses is to go to NLO. They actually have a database of female-owned businesses, so that's a good first place to go.
So if you're looking to expand your business beyond the borders of Newfoundland and Labrador, is that certification more important?
It can be, absolutely, but it all depends on the business you're trying to target. If you're going after big corporate work, absolutely certification makes sense.
Well, I hope this discussion encourages more women to take a look at this. Thanks so much for coming in with us, Caron.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.